finally on the exhibition floor of the Biennial Materials Handling Middle East here at the Dubai Exhibition Centre. I'm with David Dronfield, the General Manager of Swisslog, a Swiss manufacturer of automated warehousing solutions. David, thanks for being with us. First of all, let's just kick off with the highlights of Swisslog, because you've got your auto store here. You've got your full portfolio here in the materials handling Middle East, don't you?
We do indeed, Gareth, have a full portfolio. We're just demonstrating one system here. And when you look at Swisslog and you see that they've got the 10 systems within their portfolio, but that doesn't complement the whole solution that we provide.
Yeah.
So when we work with a client, and we're cutting straight into this, but when we talk with a client and when we develop a relationship and we start to work through the data that the client has, which we have to do, we come down to an analysis of processes, and we look at what solutions that we need to utilize and combine to make those processes work correctly. And Swisslog has a key essential elements within that, and then it combines and integrates that into a final solution. Of course, it has to take across the marketplace certain elements outside of its own core product range.
You joined Swisslog just 4 months ago as the General Manager, so we can't really talk specifically about how Swisslog managed the pandemic, but just the overall the logistics industry and the warehousing intralogistics and I guess the manufacturers as well. Do you feel that the pandemic kind of accelerated the adoption of automation? Did they kind of embrace innovation more in the market?
Totally, 100%. Yeah? The term e-com has hit us all. You know, it's hit us like a truck on the motorway. So what we were doing before, the processes, the change, the development in the industry was going at a set pace. But once a pandemic hit and the number of people started ordering online, you're talking a factor of tenfold of changes in many industries. Packaging industry. I know for a fact that was tenfold increase here in the UAE, because people were ordering, all of the online food, online, all the packaging for it. It was tenfold increases. They didn't have the warehouse capacities to actually suit that. So all this kind of industry change and development, it had its weak points. It had critical points. And when you take, say, e-grocery, to access the number of items that you need to access every hour to fulfill your orders of a pharmaceutical, for men to do that, for pickers to walk around a warehouse picking at their set rate, fivefold increase minimum by integrating a full goods-to-man solution. So when you compare that throughput and the return on investment against so many pickers, so much warehousing space, this takes 20% of the warehouse space. Instead of taking 100 pickers, we need 5 pickers. You start to compare the numbers and the ROI, it justifies itself. But that was definitely pushed ahead because of the pandemic. It's really pushed e-commerce to the forefront for us now.
And especially in the Middle East, of course, globally, and in the Middle East as well. Without the pandemic, do you think, I know that the Middle East region has been a little bit slower to adopt automation typically. Pandemic certainly accelerated that. If the pandemic didn't happen, would that rate of change been the same?
E-commerce customers using this as a technology here in the UAE existed before the pandemic. So, but it's a rate now of interest and the understanding that these 3PL providers and industry clients can't continue as they are without upping their game. And these are the kind of systems that they have to incorporate to actually up the game and meet the service level agreements that they're going to now commit with their clients. And it's our children, and us to a certain extent, who are ordering online and driving the growth of that industry. It's not driven from the industry itself, it's the population, the demographics that are doing it. So, and we have to provide the solutions that fulfill that. So all of the retailers, the pharmaceutical, the industry, it's all striving to fulfill what the population is pushing for.
Swisslog is quite unique as far as manufacturers of automation solutions. You have a physical presence here in the Middle East, here in Dubai. How has that helped you? Well, obviously service your clients, I guess it helped you greatly, but there must be, why did you initially decide to actually come here? I mean, obviously you've only been in the company 4 months, but why don't other manufacturers follow suit and follow Swisslog suit and actually set up an office here so they can be closer to their clients?
I'm not saying they haven't, but you can't we're not selling a product. That's not what we're doing. We're not selling this. When we get customers that come in and say, so how much for 5 of these? That's not what it's about. At the end of the day, we have to justify putting that solution together to give the client, the right product in the right place at the right time, at the right cost, in the right quantity, and that's what it's about. So, and the solutions that we put together have to do that, whether it's using this, a mix of different solutions to put together, then that's what we do. Doing that from afar, remotely visiting, doing that, it's not that. You need to collaborate and do a lot of face-to-face with a client and understand their business. So we're starting with data, we're looking at all the order profiles, etc. We're looking at their delivery routes, and we're working back, determining what they need to do in their distribution operation to fulfill those kind of orders every day. So that is what we do, analysing the data, but then we need to understand the client, their industry, what are their constraints, what's their unique criteria.
You've got to be close to them, right?
You have, and you've got to understand what's happening around the region to see that, and the cross-border complications, etc. So you can't understand that sitting in an office in Europe. You have to be here, understanding your clients. And the client base here is slightly different.
The relationship's different, isn't it? I mean, they appreciate that kind of personal feel touch. And
it's very, very much face-to-face, and face-to-face meetings were missed during the pandemic.
And that's what we're here in Materials Handling Middle East as well. Face-to-face meetings.
Excellent, and the uptake has been really good. So we wouldn't have changed this. We're glad we're here. Sure. We've met some very key existing clients and new ones. I can say that openly. It's a shame that we'll be walking around talking to other people.
Well, you've had 15 major projects here in the Middle East region. I know you can't go into too many details about upcoming projects, but let's just maybe talk about more kind of general industry sectors, projects in particular sectors that are coming up, or less growth industries. Obviously we mentioned e-commerce, retail, F&B.
E-grocery, that is a large one across the region, and you'll hear more about that soon, but that literally is across the region, Saudi, Kuwait, a lot of e-grocery interest, and the solutions that we do are common across the industry. So there's a lot of synergy involved there. There's other industries here which I would never have thought of years ago, which again we can't announce, some which have already been fulfilled, some in the process. Really exciting, really different. And once we can take customers around these sites, future customers, it'd be brilliant to explain it. But e-commerce, pharma, FMCG, electronic consumerism goods.
What about manufacturing? Is that an area
it's getting an interest here. But it's still not, it's nothing like the manufacturing density and population of Europe, the UK, etc., or China. So, but there is assembly looking operations here. So we were just talking to a gentleman just now, they're doing PC boards and the assembly of PLCs, etc. That's a step forward, that's good.
It's interesting, isn't it?
But I think because of all raw materials are imported here, this whole focus now, it started as a logistics hub, etc. That will always continue and drive this region.
But it's certainly safe to say that the region is definitely embracing automation.
Oh, totally, It's, like you say, slightly slower than maybe Europe, etc. But I think we're going to accelerate past that now. As companies and people and cultures are changing and realising and understanding that this is going to leapfrog and long-term safer games. Looking at some of these larger projects that are happening, that's certainly the case. My Dubai, that you've talked about before, people from worldwide have come to see that site. It's a international site there.
David, it's been a while. Obviously, Swisslog is a regular exhibitor here at Materials Handling Middle East, and it's a biennial show anyway, so it's actually one of the few exhibitions that weren't actually impacted by COVID, given that it wouldn't happen in 2020 anyway. But that all said, how does it feel to be connecting with the industry again, meeting people face to face? You obviously mentioned before it's very critical for business development, but just give us a sense of how important that is for you.
This totally, we're 100% glad we did it, 100%. We're glad we participated, we've been involved in the conferences, etc. The key clients we've met, the understanding we've gained with some of those key clients. So, because getting the face-to-face, doing the Teams meetings, etc., it's got its limits. And to be able to touch and feel, even a slightly older demonstration unit, it's holds so much value.
Yeah.
Particularly to customers who they cannot understand it from a video. They really do need to come and touch and feel it. So, and that's been a very added bonus to us here. So, no regrets. Totally happy we're here. Really, the footprint, the footfall, the level of visitors is certainly higher than, when was it, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2019. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
It's a different world.
Yeah, but the whole level, the whole aspect of this it's raised the game. When you look around all of the providers that are here, including ourselves, we're talking about the next level of technologies here. The conferencing is all about the emerging
what's now, what's
technologies.
in the future.
So, we're not talking the old technologies now. So.
Onwards and upwards.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
David, thanks for being with us. And
No
of course, we've
problem.
got one more day of
Nice to
Materials
meet you,
Handling Middle East.
Gareth.
And well, don't see you tomorrow. We'll see you in 2023.
23. For sure.